Hello, I'm Jimmy McCracken at Western Ag Works in Olathe, Colorado. We're going to give you a quick tour of our seed cleaning facility. This facility was built in, I believe, 1995. We'll have semi-trucks will come and back up to this red elevator, and they'll dump the load, the crop, they'll dump it, and it goes up this red elevator leg and goes down through the aspirator. And at that point we decide if it needs to go onto the dryer, and that's what those dryer bins are. It sits on top of the drying system, or we can put it in the bins to go to the inside of the building. Here we are at our drying facility after we get the truck unloaded, and we decided that we need to dry it before we put it in the bins. Then we would dump it into these bins right here that have a mesh bottom, and then those bins sit on top of our drying system here, and it blows air from the other side. Here's another unloading dock that we use for our large seeds, such as green beans or something similar to green bean seed. So the truck would just back up here, up above, and then dump into the bin, and we got the chute here, how fast it comes out. And then we have bins that goes on this hydraulic drive line underneath. And then so we have the empties coming in from this direction, and they go out that way. And then we end up getting a weight on a scale right at that point, and then we take it into the building. After we have our seed brought inside of our warehouse, we have everything stacked in lines. Each stack has their own line on the warehouse floor. When we're ready to do a crop, we'll bring the bin right here with the forklift and put the bin right here on this bin dumper and dump the bin. And then that takes the corn up to the top of our building, where we decide the first step of routing for what we need to clean it for. Here we are upstairs in the top of the milling area. Whenever we get a new crop in, the very first thing we do, we take a couple pound dockage sample, and we have some little hand screens that we can shake the seed to see, what sizes of screens fits it the best, and then that's where we decide what screens to use in each of the stages that we're doing. So this very first stage, after we're up here with the corn, is the Westrup scalper cleaner. Each of these has different sizes screens in it. Here's one of the screens. It's from the inside. It takes the largest stuff off the top, and then two sets of screens down below, it takes the small seed out the bottom, and so it separates stuff that's too large and stuff that's too small. So that would be your dirt, all the smaller stuff would be taken out at this point. After our corn goes through the Westrup cleaner that we just talked about, then the next step is sizing. So we got 4 sizers here, Gustafson, Size Right, and what the sizers does is it splits the corn. I'm going to talk about sweet corn because that's what we've been doing, but it'll split the corn into flats and rounds, and then from there it'll split it into size of large flats, small flats, or large rounds, small rounds. And here we just have some of our controls. Once the corn is up in the top of our mill, we got different areas we can go. We got all the different machines, routing to go to each machine, and so that's kind of what we do in this area here. Right here in this area is what we call our consignment head, and basically from this area here we can send corn into any work area or any workstation that we have on our property. We have one pipe that goes out to a hand picking line, and so that's off in a separate room, and then we have our gravity bins, and we have our color sorting, and then we have also another hand pick belt line in another room. So basically from this point here we can send corn to any area we need in our building. After our seed crop goes through the upright cleaner, the thing that we just come down from, after it comes through the cleaner, then it drops down into this. This is a Mudbuster magnetic sorting belt, and what it does, it lets the crop disperse out, and then there's a magnetized belt here, and this belt, anything like dirt, rocks, metal, it just, it's magnetized, and it sticks to the belt, and then as the good crop goes out and over, then anything magnetized will drop down into our coals. After the seed crop has been cleaned and sized, then we come to the point of the gravity table. This is a Forsberg. What the gravity table does is it feeds the seed crop in, and it has air that blows up as the table shakes, and the lighter seed is pushed towards the bottom, and there's baffles where you can pull the light seed off the bottom, and then the heaviest of crop floats to the top, to the very upper part of the gravity table. And at that point of the gravity table, it takes off, say, pinto beans out of a corn crop. It takes out dirt, clods, anything that might have been missed in some of the other steps. So it just, by density, it sorts onto this table and pulls off. And then everything in the middle would be your good seed. After the seed is through the gravity table, then it is put over here into the color sorting room. And up above this room, we have 2 different bins, holding bins. And both of the bins on each side holds 4 bins of crop. And then they have gates on them that we can open or shut. And then it goes through the Sataki Scan Master 400 color sorter. And what this does, it has a different background set, and it has air ejectors. And so as the crop passes through infrared lens, it can sense like the different colors, if something's too dark or too light, versus where we have it set on the spectrum, it'll eject that out with a blast of compressed air. After everything's been color sorted, at that point we will pull a purity test, and we'll see if everything meets standard to pass at that point. And if it does pass, then we'll move on to packaging, treating and packaging. And if it doesn't pass at that point, if it's something's out of whack, or say you found a pinto bean in sweet corn, or dirt, or weed seed, or anything like that, at that point then we would send that crop over here to a hand picking belt. And it's basically the same thing. It's vibratory, it feeds itself. Then you have 2 to 3 people sit here, and they can pick out whatever crop that it failed with. And so this is just an extra step in ensuring that the seed is pushed out in as clean as you can get it. So at this stage, everything's been tested on purity, germination, all the tests have been back, hybridity, all that stuff that you test for. So at that point, then we bring the corn over here, or beans, or whatever seed it would be. We would dump it in the bin dumper, and then it comes up here above, and this is our treating and packaging area. So up above is a treater. It's a drum that spins. It applies the seed chemical treatment, and then it comes down here into this blue deal, and this is the bagger. Whatever we have it set for, 100,000 seed units or poundage, whatever it would be, it bags it and then drops the bag, and then we have a person take the bag, and it gets sewed here, and then it gets stacked onto a pallet, and it's ready to be palletized after that. After we have the seed all treated and packaged, and it's stacked on a pallet, then we set the pallet here on the pallet wrapper, and it spins, and it wraps it with the plastic wrap. It gets it sealed real tight, ready for shipping, and then we're ready to put labels on it and ship it out the door. Here we are at our seed counter, and what we do here, we have 8 pre-weighed samples that we will use to run the seed count with. We run each of the 8 samples through, we get the number, and then we do the math from there, and that gives us our seed count. It gives us our 1,000 seed weight, and gives us all that pertinent information we need for that.